As the Supreme Court gets ready, meanwhile, to make an important decision on Obamacare subsidies, insurers are seeking double-digit rate hikes. Health insurance companies blame the increase on higher than expected prescription refills for enrollees.
We are positive that all of those within the sound of my voice are absolutely shocked, I say, that your health insurance rates are heading north. Then again, fear not, for you can keep your doctor. Oh, wait, let us rephrase. You can complain all you'd like, but Obamacare's eventual boom is landing square in your wallet. These and other items of interest kick us off here on the Thursday News Call. First up, veteran broadcaster heard over the years in Boston, Chicago, L.A., and more, Steve McPartlin, paired with the adjunct journalism professor at Marymount Manhattan College and Seton Hall University, Dorian Davis. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. And Steve, I'm going to come to you first on this one. What a shocker, if you will. Large insurance companies want to make more money, 50% plus. Wow, Steve, everybody in the audience right now is stunned, aren't you?
No, actually, I hate to break your heart. The last time I was surprised was when I found out that ice cream cones were hollow. More importantly, I would like to know what we were told about the Obama plan before that has turned out to be true. Because obviously we were told that premiums would go down, and we find out now that's not true. We were told you can keep your plan if you like it. Don't worry about it. If you like your plan, you can keep it. Well, that really wasn't true. And you could keep your doctor too. And that wasn't true. And then, of course, the biggest, I don't want to call any of those lies because I think they were just wrong.
Oh, go ahead, Steve. Go for it.
Well, this was such a haphazard effort in writing a law the way this law was written. That's why it's not a good law, to be honest with you. It was just mashed together, and they had to do it in a certain time frame to do it before the first midterm elections of his first term. And I just think they were wrong there. But the big lie was, it is a tax, Mr. President.
Ah, there you go.
It is a tax.
Well, now we're in it. Dorian, I guess if we were to look at this from a journalism standpoint, you'd have to be giving a whole lot of people big Fs.
Yeah, it was pretty shoddily reported at the time. You know, this was jammed through Congress. It was obvious. You did not have to be an economist to know that it was impossible to insure 46 million people and provide the same quality service and lower rates. So it should have been reported differently, Ed, but it wasn't, and now this is where we are.
Well, here we go. Something else for health-wise, Dorian, that I'm going to give to you. Governor Rick Scott, state of Florida, signed into law a requirement that Florida women visiting a doctor, they have to wait at least 24 hours before having an abortion. Now, one side would say, that's fine. You need time to think about it. The other side says, wait a minute. Women have thought about it enough by the time they get there. So where's your side of this, Dorian?
Well, Ed, 28 states have laws that require a waiting period before an abortion. Some of those waiting periods are up to 3 days, so this is nothing new per se. I don't see the point of this law, though. You know, it kind of assumes that when a woman shows up at a clinic, she's discombobulated and irrational, and I suspect that a lot of women have thought this important decision through by the time they show up there. The sponsor of this bill in the Florida legislature has defended it by saying it's common courtesy to meet with your doctor before undergoing this procedure, but I'm not sure this is a situation where we need to be legislating common courtesy.
Discombobulated and irrational. Have you been to Florida lately? Just having to throw that out there for just a minute here. Steve, I think those words work pretty well, but which side do you fall on?
Well, I just want to begin by saying in 30 years of broadcasting, I've avoided this topic at all costs because I don't think anybody really wants to hear what a middle-aged guy has to say about abortion. But having said that, I don't really see how this law really hurts anybody. As a matter of fact, I think it could actually protect a certain segment of the population. There have been many, many stories about young women going and seeking counseling for abortion and being felt as if they were being pressured into doing it right now. And that, at the very, very least, protects those women. And if it does protect those people who may be emotional, who may be confused about their decision, then I think it's worth having.
All right, gentlemen, let's go ahead and turn to the media right now. Dorian, kick back to you here. Fox is going to have a second-tier debate. A New Hampshire newspaper said, well, if you're not going to give the B-list contenders a chance to speak out, then we're going to do it. Fox said, oh, wait a minute then, we better go ahead and put them on television here. Is it really going to make any difference in your mind to see a lot of these B-list candidates?
No, Ed, it's not. I don't understand why they can't just put all 16 of the current and prospective candidates on stage and let them duke it out.
Are you serious? Do you realize the chaos that would cause?
And you've never produced a television show.
I am 100%. Ed, part of politics is entertainment. Can you imagine Trump up there? We need Trump in this debate. But no, Ed, the forum that they're offering, it's not in prime time, and it's for candidates who are at 1% or higher in the polls. Well, that's still going to exclude people, if it were held right now, like Lindsey Graham and Bobby Jindal, people with a lot of experience who ought to be heard.
Well, I tell you what there, Steve. Dorian makes a great point about it being just sheer entertainment, if nothing else. But I am going to hit you then on something else which comes along for entertainment. You can comment on this as well. But we speak about Fox. Rupert Murdoch is going to step down, hand over the reins of the conglomerate to his son. He's still going to be executive chairman. But, I mean, let's face it, Rupert Murdoch changed the face of broadcasting, period.
He changed my life. He actually hired me. I was the first endeavor when Fox's first endeavor on television was a television show called A Current Affair. I was the first reporter he hired to do a current affair. So I think that, and that show in and of itself changed the way we tell stories on television.
Dorian, would you have to agree that no matter how you look at it, the man changed broadcasting? And certainly there's a lot of discussion right now about the kind of programming that the programming side puts out. But let's face it, he did change this industry.
No, he changed all of journalism. He changed broadcasting, he changed newspapers, he changed a lot of things. And I don't think this is a changing of the guard, by the way, at 21st Century Fox. You know, as you said, Ed, he's going to stay in a major role there. I think it's just a contingency plan as we look forward to the future of the company.
The man is in his 80s, 84 years of age, and my friends who work at Fox tell me that he is just as vibrant today as he was the first day that he walked in the door. He always gets involved. 2 minutes left. Here comes a little legalese here. In Orlando, a video showing a police officer kicking a guy who is on the curb, kicking him as many as 6 times, as a matter of fact. Cops say he was intoxicated, resisting arrest. The guy says, "That's not who I was." Steve, come to you on this one right now. There are some people saying that it doesn't make a difference no matter what he was at this point. Why are you kicking the guy a half a dozen times when he's on the ground?
You know, every time I come on here, I wind up defending the police, and then another cop goes out and does something even more stupid than the previous cop. Yeah, you can't defend this. There is no way you can defend a man sitting down and the cop just willy-nilly just kicking him.
Well, here's the other thing, Steve, to your point.
All.
The Orlando police chief says there's no reason to suspend him. That in itself, Steve, is mind-boggling.
I'd like to know the whole story. Once again, I keep saying that whenever this happens, I want to see the whole story. There are 2 other videos, and I tried to do the research on them, and it's very difficult to find the chronological order of the videos. Apparently, he was running from him at one point. He was clearly resisting arrest at one point. But at this point, he is a subdued person. And continuing to beat a subdued person makes no sense. I understand police are human beings. I understand they can get emotional like we all can, and even get out of control like we all can when we lose our temper. But this is just absolute stupid. And what's really stupid is the other cop standing there watching it. He should be preventing his fellow officer from costing himself his job.
Dorian, I got about 40 seconds left here. There were some people saying that this cop should be fired immediately.
Yeah, I think so, Ed. You know, there are 3 videos. I did watch all 3 of them. It is unclear, the chronological order, and it is clear from the videos that the accuser here was misbehaving in some way. But the video speaks for itself, regardless of the context. You cannot kick a suspect. I cannot believe that is, you know, normal police procedure, and there have to be consequences.
And not only that, but if you have the guy on the ground, it's one thing. If you want to get him on the ground, you get down, you subdue him, you arrest him, you cuff him, whatever it is, but there's just no reason to go through the kicking. It'll be interesting to see if the police chief backs up on his no reason to not suspend, if you will, sooner or later.
This wasn't combat. This wasn't mutual combat here. This guy was just getting beat up.
That's exactly what it was, too. Steve McPartlin, Dorian Davis, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again real soon. And coming up next, another government agency doing whatever they can to separate you from your money. And we will tell you how to make sure they don't take all of it. Coming up next, right here on MidPoint.